Hey everyone! Buckle up because this is the kind of story that makes you question everything you thought you knew about love, trust, and karma. My name is Jack Mitchell. I'm 32 years old, just a regular guy from Cincinnati, Ohio. Grew up in a quiet neighborhood, had good parents who taught me that honesty and hard work meant something. I wasn't the most popular kid in school, but I had my group, my interests, my plans. I liked cars, sports, and simple things, never needed much to be happy. And then there was Emily. We met in high school and man, she had me wrapped around her finger from day one. She wasn't the prom queen or the girl everyone was chasing, but she had this way of making you feel like you were the only person in the world when she talked to you. She was smart, ambitious, funny. She wanted to travel, build a career, make something of herself. Me? I wanted a steady job, a house, and a family. We were different, but somehow it worked. At least, that's what I thought. We did the whole long-distance thing in college. She went to Ohio State, I stayed back home, working and taking night classes. It wasn't easy, but I believed in us. I thought she did too. After graduation, we moved in together, got a decent apartment, and started building a life. I got a solid job in sales, she got into PR. We weren't rich, but we were doing well. Life was good. And then I proposed. I'll never forget that night. December, Fountain Square, Christmas lights everywhere. I had saved for months to buy the ring she wanted, planned the moment perfectly. She cried, said yes, hugged me like I was her whole world. And for a while, I really believed that. Then the wedding planning started. At first, it was normal stress, venues, guest lists, deposits. But then things got weird. Late nights at work. More meetings. The way she suddenly had to take her phone with her everywhere. How she started dressing up more for the office, wearing perfume she never wore around me. I ignored it. I told myself she was just busy, overwhelmed. That I was overthinking. Until one night when I saw the message. A simple text popping up on her laptop screen while she was in the shower. Last night was amazing. Can't stop thinking about you. It wasn't from me. My whole body went cold. I clicked the chat. Scrolled. Read everything. Months of messages. Plans. Laughing at me behind my back. That's when something inside me changed. I didn't confront her. I didn't cry or beg for answers. Instead, I smiled. Because in that moment I realized something. She thought she was getting away with it. She had no idea that she was about to become the biggest fool in the room. And that, my friends, is where the real story begins. Let me ask you something. If you found out the person you loved, the person you built your whole life around, was playing you for a fool, what would you do? Would you confront them? Scream, cry, demand answers? Would you walk away quietly, lick your wounds, and try to move on? That's what most people would do. But I'm not most people. See, when I read those messages, when I saw months of secret plans, inside jokes at my expense, and photos I never should have seen, something inside me snapped. But not in the way you'd think. I didn't flip the table, I didn't break down in tears, and I didn't pack my bags. No, I smiled. Because at that moment I realized I had one advantage Emily didn't know about. She thought I was still the same trusting, clueless guy she had been fooling for months. And that was my greatest weapon. I closed the laptop. Sat there in the dark for a long time, just letting it all sink in. I could have confronted her right then and there, but what would that do? She'd deny it, spin a story, maybe even turn it around on me. No. I wanted more than that. I wanted her to feel it. To watch as everything she built came crashing down around her. And I wasn't going to do it in private. I was going to make sure she had an audience. The next morning, I woke up before her. Made coffee, kissed her on the forehead, and asked if she wanted pancakes. She smiled, stretched, and told me she had a busy day at work. Another big client meeting. Another Thursday night, I'd be home alone. I just nodded, told her I'd be waiting up for her, and watched as she walked out the door, completely oblivious to the fact that I already knew where she'd be. Because here's the thing. I had been watching. After that first text, I did my homework. I took my time, played the role, and let her think she had me wrapped around her little finger. I tracked everything, her late nights, her business trips, her sudden interest in dressing up just a little too much for work. Every Thursday night, she wasn't at a meeting. She was at room 214 of the Riverside Inn with Ryan. And that was just the beginning. I installed a keylogger on her laptop. Nothing too invasive, just enough to see the conversations she was having when she thought I wasn't looking. I copied messages, saved photos, even took screenshots of their little heart-to-heart conversations. By the time I was done, I had everything. Every "I love you," every plan they made, every single lie she had told me. And then, just when I thought my plan couldn't get any better, she hit me with a surprise. She was pregnant. At first, I thought I misheard her. We weren't even trying. She had been on birth control, or at least, I thought she had. But she was glowing, holding the test in her hand, eyes full of fake joy. She hugged me, cried, told me she couldn't wait to start a family with me. And right then, I knew she had no idea. She had no idea the storm that was about to hit her. I smiled, pulled her close, whispered how happy I was. Told her we'd make the announcement at her birthday party. That this was going to be the best night of our lives. And in a way, I wasn't lying. Because if she wanted to celebrate, I was going to give her a celebration. One she would never forget. I spent the next few weeks making sure everything was perfect. I rented out a venue, sent out invitations, even hired a photographer to capture the special moments. I made sure her whole family was coming, her parents, her cousins, even that one and who always drank too much and caused a scene. Friends, coworkers, everyone who mattered to her. And then I prepared the final piece. A small envelope. Inside, the DNA test results. The night before the party, she kissed me and told me she couldn't wait for tomorrow. She had no clue she was about to lose everything. And the best part? She would have no one to blame but herself. People always say karma will do the job for you. That you don't need to seek revenge because life has a way of balancing the scales. Well, I wasn't about to wait for the universe to handle this one. No, I had spent too much time, too much effort playing the part of the clueless, loving fiancé, and now it was time for my grand finale. Emily's birthday party was set to be the event of the year. A big, elegant venue, decorations, a photographer, and over 50 guests. Her family, her co-workers, our mutual friends, everyone who mattered to her was coming to celebrate. She had no idea they were actually coming to watch her life implode in real time. The day of the party, Emily was glowing. She wore this expensive white dress, the kind that made her look like some angelic bride-to-be. She kept touching her stomach, smiling like she was living in a dream. And in a way, she was. Just not for much longer. I played my role perfectly. I kissed her, told her how beautiful she looked, held her hand like the perfect doting fiancé. Every time she looked at me, she saw the same fool she had been deceiving for months. That was the beauty of it. She had no idea the trap was already set, that every smiling guest in that room was about to witness the truth. As the evening went on, people toasted to Emily, talked about how wonderful she was, how lucky I was to have her. Every speech, every kind word made my revenge taste even sweeter. Because soon, the real story would come out. Then, right in the middle of the evening, I took the microphone. First of all, I just want to thank everyone for coming tonight, I said, looking out at the crowd. This is a really special night, not just because it's Emily's birthday, but because we have something incredible to celebrate. Emily's eyes lit up. She grabbed my arm, already thinking I was about to announce the pregnancy. Oh, sweetheart. I reached into my pocket and pulled out a small envelope. Now, Emily and I have always been honest with each other, I continued. And when she told me she was pregnant, I wanted to do the responsible thing and make sure I was ready to be the best father I could be. The room was silent. You could hear a pin drop. So I did something, I said, my voice perfectly calm. I got a paternity test. The moment I said those words, Emily's face drained of color. I felt her grip tighten on my arm, her nails digging into my skin. I opened the envelope, looked at the results one last time, and then I read them out loud. Probability of paternity, 0%. Gasps. Murmurs. Someone in the back actually dropped their drink. Emily started shaking her head, her mouth opening and closing like she wanted to say something, but what could she say? She knew. She knew this moment was coming. She just hadn't expected it here, in front of everyone. I turned to her. Do you want to explain? I asked, my voice too calm, or should I keep going? Her hands were trembling. Jack, let's talk about this privately. I let out a short laugh. Privately? You mean like how you privately spent the last few months sneaking around behind my back? Like how you privately planned an entire future with a guy who wasn't me? I turned back to the guests. Because, folks, this isn't just any mistake. No, this was carefully planned. Emily here has been seeing someone for months. And not just anyone, her wonderful, charming coworker, Ryan. A collective gasp. Heads turned, whispers spread like wildfire. Emily looked like she wanted to sink into the floor. But I wasn't done. Oh, and Ryan? I said, scanning the room. You here, buddy? And sure enough, Ryan was standing near the back of the room, his face frozen in pure horror. He had probably thought they had gotten away with it, that Emily would leave me and they'd get their happy ending. Not today. Emily turned toward him, her face desperate. Ryan, I cut her off. No, don't waste your breath. We're not done. I turned to her parents, to her friends, to everyone who had thought we were the perfect couple. Emily let me plan this whole night, knowing full well what she had done. She let me think I was going to be a father, knowing full well I wasn't. She thought I'd never find out. Thought I'd just accept this, raise another man's kid, and never question a thing. I took a deep breath, looked her right in the eyes. Did you really think I was that stupid? Silence. She burst into tears. But it wasn't the kind of crying you'd expect. It wasn't sorrow or regret. It was panic. Because she knew she had lost everything. Her parents? Disgusted. Her mom had her hand over her mouth, her dad looked like he was about to explode. Her friends? Shocked. Some looked at her with pity, others just looked away. And Ryan? Oh, Ryan. He tried to slip toward the exit, but I wasn't done yet. Hold on, Ryan, I called out, making sure everyone heard. You might want to stick around for this next part. Because here's the best part. Ryan was married. That's right. The whole time he was sneaking around with Emily, he had a wife. And guess what? I found her. And I had made sure she got an invitation to the party. The second she walked through the door, the entire room turned toward her. Ryan froze. His wife locked eyes with him, then turned to Emily. You, she whispered. Then she turned and threw her drink right in Emily's face. Chaos. Absolute chaos. Emily was sobbing, Ryan was trying to explain himself, but his wife wasn't having it. Her family disowned her on the spot. Her dad literally said, "We didn't raise you to be like this," before walking out. Friends? Gone. Coworkers? Well, let's just say Monday morning was going to be rough for Emily and Ryan. And me? I put the microphone down, grabbed my jacket, and walked out without looking back. Because I had one. They say the moment after revenge is supposed to feel empty, that once the adrenaline fades, you're left with nothing but a hollow victory. Let me tell you something. That's a lie. Walking out of that party, hearing the chaos behind me, feeling the cold night air hit my face, I had never felt more alive. Because that wasn't just revenge. That was justice. But the best part? It wasn't over yet. See, Emily had spent months lying to me, building a future she knew wasn't real. And now? Now she had to live with the consequences. The morning after the party, I woke up to dozens of missed calls and messages. Emily, her parents, even some of her friends. I ignored them. But then, just as I was making coffee, I heard a knock at the door. I already knew who it was. I opened it to find Emily standing there, makeup smudged, eyes red and swollen. She had been crying. A lot. She looked like she hadn't slept. "Jack," she whispered. "Please, can we talk?" I leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed. "Oh, now you want to talk?" She swallowed hard. I messed up. I know I did. But we can fix this. Please." I just stared at her. Fix this? After everything? After months of sneaking around, of laughing behind my back, of lying to my face? You don't get it, do you? I said, my voice eerily calm. This isn't something you fix. You didn't mess up. You made a choice. Over and over again. And now you get to live with it. She shook her head, stepping forward. I was scared, Jack. I didn't know how to tell you. But I never meant to hurt you. I still love you. I let out a short, bitter laugh. Love? She wanted to talk about love now? You don't love me, Emily, I said. You love what I gave you. The stability. The comfort. The life you thought you could fall back on when things didn't work out with Ryan. She flinched at his name. Good. I can change, she said, her voice breaking. I swear I'll do whatever it takes. Just please, don't do this. And there it was. The fear. See, the party was just the beginning. That was the public humiliation, the moment where she lost her perfect image. But the real pain? The real consequences? That was still coming. I pulled out the divorce papers. She froze. Her lips parted, but no words came out. I dropped them into her hands. You're going to sign these, I said. And you're not getting a single cent from me. Tears welled in her eyes. Jack, you're also going to pack your things and get out of the apartment, I continued. I already changed the locks, so don't bother trying to stay. She stared at me like she didn't recognize the man in front of her. Maybe she didn't. Maybe she thought I'd be weak, that I'd forgive her, that I'd be like all the other fools who take back the people who betray them. Not me. She sniffled. I don't have anywhere to go. I shrugged. That's not my problem. Her lower lip trembled. My parents won't talk to me. I smiled. Sounds like a you problem. She broke down completely, sobbing, shaking, gripping the doorframe like she was about to collapse. And for the first time since this whole thing started, I felt nothing. No anger, no sadness, just freedom. I leaned in close. You made your bed, Emily, I whispered. Now lie in it. And with that, I shut the door in her face. But oh, it gets better. See, you'd think that after all that, she'd disappear. That she'd go quietly, try to rebuild her life. But no, Emily didn't know when to quit. Because 2 days later, she was back. This time, she wasn't alone. She brought Ryan. Now, if you think Ryan showed up to fight for her honor, to defend his great love, you'd be wrong. No, Ryan looked just as miserable as she did. Because after the party, his wife left him. She took everything, the house, the car, even their dog. The guy went from having a stable life to sleeping in motels. And somehow, this idiot thought I was the one to blame. You ruined everything. Ryan spat the moment I opened the door. I laughed. Actually laughed. Me? I said. I ruined everything? Buddy, you did that all on your own. Emily clung to his arm, but even she looked like she regretted bringing him here. You need to fix this, she whispered, her voice desperate. I raised an eyebrow. Fix what? Ryan took a step forward. Tell my wife it wasn't serious. That you blew it out of proportion. Oh, this was rich. I crossed my arms. Let me get this straight. You cheated on your wife. You got caught. And now you want me to what? Lie for you. Ryan clenched his fists. You had no right to expose us like that. I grinned. You had no right to sleep with my fiancée. So I'd say we're even. Emily looked between us, realizing she had made a huge mistake. But it was too late. Ryan was angry. He lunged at me. Big mistake. See, I might have been the calm, collected guy, but that didn't mean I was weak. Ryan learned that the hard way when he ended up flat on his back on my porch. Emily screamed. Ryan groaned, clutching his ribs. I looked down at him and smiled. Now get off my property. He staggered to his feet, grabbing Emily's arm. Come on. We're leaving. Emily hesitated. I saw it, the split second of regret. She wanted to stay, wanted to beg, but I just shook my head. You made your choice, Emily. Now live with it. And with that, I shut the door. That was the last time I ever saw her. Word spread fast. Emily lost her job. Turns out, sleeping with a coworker isn't great for office morale. Ryan? Well, Ryan disappeared. Last I heard, he moved to another city, tried to start fresh. But karma? Oh, karma wasn't done with them. As for me, I moved on. Got my own place. Took time to heal. And you know what? I'm happier than I've ever been. Because at the end of the day, revenge wasn't just about hurting them. It was about setting myself free. And let me tell you, It felt amazing. It's funny how quickly people disappear when they have nothing left to take from you. Emily and Ryan thought they could just erase the damage, start over somewhere else, pretend like none of this ever happened. But life doesn't work like that. Choices have consequences, and the best part? They were just getting started. After shutting the door on them, I expected that to be the last time I'd hear from Emily. I figured she'd disappear into whatever miserable existence she had left. But no, Emily wasn't done yet. A week later, I got an email. Not a long, dramatic confession. Just one line. Please, can we talk? I ignored it. 2 days later, another. I just need you to hear me out. Delete. Then the messages started coming from unknown numbers. Different versions of the same plea. I'm sorry. I never meant to hurt you. Please. I have nothing left. Oh, but that wasn't my problem, was it? But then she dropped the bombshell. I lost the baby. For a moment, I just stared at the screen. It didn't feel real. I should have felt something, anger, pity, maybe even relief. But all I felt was empty. I don't know if she was lying or if it really happened. But one thing was clear. She was desperate. She thought this would be the thing that broke me, that I'd suddenly come running back. But the truth? It only proved I made the right decision. I didn't respond. A few weeks later, I ran into her mother at a coffee shop. And that's when I learned just how far Emily had fallen. She's staying with a friend, her mom said, stirring her drink without looking at me. We kicked her out. I blinked. You wait, what? Her mother sighed, finally meeting my eyes. She lied to us, Jack. To everyone. She let us believe you were going to be a father. That she had made a mistake, but you'd work through it. And when we found out the truth, when we realized how long she had been lying, we couldn't look at her the same. I leaned back in my chair, taking that in. Even her own parents had turned their backs on her. She's been trying to reach you, hasn't she? Her mother asked, eyeing me carefully. I nodded. She shook her head. Don't answer. You've done enough. That was the last time I ever spoke to Emily's family. And honestly, that was the moment I knew I had truly won. But what about Ryan? Oh, don't worry. Karma wasn't done with him either. Turns out, after losing his wife, his house, and his cushy office affair, Ryan's career took a hit. The scandal at work didn't exactly make him a desirable employee, and when word got out that he had lost everything, people stopped taking him seriously. And the best part? He tried to move on from Emily, but she clung to him like a sinking ship. I heard from a mutual friend that they tried dating for a while. That they even moved in together. But it didn't last. Because here's the thing, when two people build a relationship on lies, betrayal, and secrecy, they don't trust each other. And without trust, there's nothing left. Last I heard, Emily was couch hopping, bouncing from friend to friend, burning through every last ounce of goodwill she had left. And Ryan? He vanished. Packed up, moved to another city, left everything behind. Good riddance. And me? I moved on. Not overnight. Not easily. But I did. I got my own place, focused on my career, started rebuilding the life she tried to take from me. And let me tell you something, there's nothing better than waking up and realizing you are finally free. People always ask me if I ever regret it. If I ever think about what could have been. And my answer is always the same. No. Because when someone shows you who they really are, you don't wish they were different. You don't pretend things could have gone another way. You let them go. And trust me, watching them destroy themselves, that was the best revenge of all.